Good evening. My name is Dr. Detrick McGriff, and I am the proud principal of Broughal Middle School, located in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. For those of you unfamiliar with Bethlehem, it has a slogan on the signs when you come in and you drive the way. The slogan is, "Follow the shining star to Bethlehem." And coming to tonight's event, it clearly ruminated with me that this is a great opportunity for each one of our speakers and myself. And so I'm going to savor this moment. I'm honored to kick off this talk about this TEDx event and discussing bridging gaps, a powerful theme. I would like to start this conversation by sharing a gift I received early in my educational career. It was framed and given to me by a student. It quickly became a reminder of my role in addressing tonight's topic. You see, I'm going to be discussing achievement gaps. They have close relatives to opportunity and learning gaps, but it's all the same. It refers to the ways in which we as individuals look at race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, English proficiency, and other factors, and how they contribute or perpetuate lower educational aspirations, achievement, and attainment for certain groups of students. Students like mine. See, at Broughal, 90% of our students are children of color, 70% Latino, approximately 20% African American, and several other mixes in ethnicities. Of that Latino population, 70%, approximately 38% of them are ELL, English language learners, just coming in contact with our new language. In a recent speech by President Obama, he explains the harsh reality of this gap in America for children of color. He explains it this way: American children of color are less likely to graduate from high school, less likely to earn a college degree, less likely to be employed, less likely to have health care, less likely to have a home. With such a disparity, it quickly turns our conversation of addressing educational gaps to one of social disparity. If we were to include the startling statistics of the school-to-prison pipeline, this would no longer be a discussion of gaps, but really a dissertation of an abyss. This gap is even more profound when we start talking about one typical characteristic of the urban situation, which is poverty. Many of our students and parent families come to Broughal Middle School and come to South Bethlehem, whether it's good jobs, great education, or a host of other reasons. They come here to really chase that American dream. You see, the South Side is an urban oasis in a region of suburban opportunity. So being equidistant between New York and Philadelphia makes it a place that's welcoming to many families trying to go ahead and break this initial gap. Consider this. In our school community, $22,500 can be the cost of one semester of undergraduate education at Lehigh University, or the annual salary of a family of four, just slightly above the poverty line. And guess what? With nearly 90% of our student body qualifying for free and reduced lunch, and a significant portion of our students fall below that poverty line. But this is not a conversation about the gap. We know it exists. It's nothing new. This is a conversation about how we're going to bridge these gaps. One of the first things is the commitment that this community made to building a new middle school, Broughal Middle School. It is a contemporary institution. It has all kinds of things that are really the latest and greatest in public education. It has a rooftop garden, a greenhouse, planetarium, video editing area. All these things are built and made to make this school a model of 21st century learning. This is what happens when a community believes in its children. However, that's just the facade. That's just the outside of Broughal. There's much more to Broughal than just these wonderful ideas on the exterior. You see, when Broughal was erected, It was going under the idea of being part of a community school model. And with that, they made sure to go ahead and have certain things that would be able to address the needs that so often plague our students. You see, the reality is, each day, throngs of adolescents move into the community school building and they cross lots of hurdles in order to try to access their education. But many of these hurdles impede them. See, if you look at the nexus of what some of these problems are to learning, you have to look at the whole child, not just the child once they enter your classroom. You got to look at what they had to go through in order to get to your classroom. So for instance, it's hard to go ahead and learn when you're hungry, tired, cold. So many of our students have now, the term used to be at risk, but that language is no longer acceptable. In our district, we call school dependent. Children that go ahead and depend on the school for nutrition, depend on the school sometimes for clothing, depend on the school for just safety and stability. To do that, it can't just be any typical school. It has to be a community school. If you go ahead and look above, you'll see certain things that oftentimes you won't find in other institutions. A family center has a clothing closet. We have a food pantry. There's actually a medical and dental office right there in our building. In addition to that, St. Luke's partnership brings medical and dental vans through our buildings as well. So when you start looking at all these various needs that children may have when they come into our school building, we have gone ahead and said we will meet them, and we will meet them well. But that's not it. You see, the reality is many of our kids, they come to us traumatized. They come traumatized with all kinds of factors. And for that, we've accepted a school-wide model known as restorative practices. What that does is just a framework. Their slogan is, we want to connect the disconnected world. And in doing so, we listen to our children consistently, almost on a daily basis. And more importantly, when those students that have been traumatized come into our school and they feel safe and comforted, we've converted our school not only to a place of learning, but to a place of healing. Now, this is just one part of this community school model. There have been deliberate partnerships made in and around our community that go ahead and they reinforce what's going on within this community school model. At the base, you should see the Bethlehem Area School District, who had the vision to go ahead and accept this model and address the needs of the whole child. Flanked to the left and right, you'll see the United Way and Just Born. They provide fiscal sustenance to the community school model. So that way, when there are things that we just cannot go ahead and afford, they will go ahead and help supplement them. They give us things such as after-school programming, leadership opportunities. And so they go ahead and help be part of a huge umbrella that fortifies this bridge. Recent additions include Life Church and the Boys and Girls Club of South Bethlehem. In essence, they've converted a 5-day-a-week institution to almost a 7-day-a-week paradise, providing programming before school and after school and even on Sundays, making our auditorium a place of worship and our after-school place a place of sanctity, especially during those critical hours when most harm comes to adolescents, 3 to 5. But we cannot forget the lead partner, Lehigh University. As students, you should be extremely proud. There are so many things that this university does to go ahead and integrate into this model and really help us bridge this gap. It's profound. Things such as the Zellner Arts Center, and they consistently provide programming and giving our kids exposure to things they would probably never see. We have a wonderful program called ME 240, in which the minds of our adolescent students come and they draw up cars. And all of a sudden, they become reality with the help of Lehigh engineering students. And then that first Friday in May, they actually will go ahead and have this huge race. And I'll be honest, sometimes it's hard to determine who likes it more, the middle school students or the Lehigh students, because they're cheering equally as loud. But with all these cool things, it really goes back to that idea that we are bridging gaps, one by one. However, here's another huge gap that's really burgeoned this year. Before my arrival, the PTO had been defunct for approximately a decade. Parents, outside of all these others helping, are the most consistent predictor of student success. And when you have parents that are engaged, that want to be part of your school and want to be part of your school community, that's the difference maker. This year, our parents have gone ahead and put together programming, and Hispanic Heritage Day. They've gone ahead, they did gardening and actually converted the outside of our building into something that was so beautiful it almost brought tears to my eyes. And with that, in which each relationship, we're going ahead and we're bridging this gap. When we talk about gaps, and we talk about really the topic of discussion, looking at these achievement gaps, it seems like tumultuous waters, overwhelming, almost a bridge over troubled waters, to be honest with you. But I would say this and challenge you. Don't look down. You need to look one or two places. Look forward or look above. Follow the shining star is how I started this presentation. I wonder if it's more ironic or iconic that the Star of Bethlehem sits on South Mountain, direct line sight of Broughal Middle School, where we're closing and bridging gaps. Thank you. Have a great evening.